Hey, Eric for President here. This is going to be a feel-good story and a kind of a weird review of the Oculus Quest because I found as I tried to review this, it's hard to sum it all up just in its technical capabilities or specs. There's something else about the legacy of the Quest that's impacting the VR community in a special way that I think needs to be talked about. Stay tuned to the end of this, I think you're going to want to hear it. Let's get on with the Quest review. After months and months of waiting, months and months of community angst, anticipation, hype, and more, the Oculus Quest launch has come and gone. The Quest has been reviewed almost ad nauseum at this point, so let's review what's important to you, the Cliff Note version of the pros and cons you would need to know before we get into the real story of this. The Oculus Quest provides 6 degrees of standalone VR freedom, which ultimately has sold itself to me already through my use. The resolution is on par / better than the original CV1 Rift, with noticeable improvements with the screen door effect. The setup, although requiring the mobile app and a Wi-Fi connection at first, which could be a small barrier for some, was a breeze and insanely intuitive. The pass-through camera feature for going out of your Guardian boundaries is a massive convenience and provides immense value. On the other hand though, the Oculus Quest is front-heavy for sure, and finding the right mix of comfort and your sweet spot for viewing is going to be very difficult for some. Without an external power core, the battery is going to drain faster, I think, than most expected as well. The onboard audio, from my experience, was extremely disappointing, where external headphones for immersion are basically 100% necessity for true play. The tracking, of course, can also be spotty when getting close to boundaries, quick movements, anything behind the back, and sometimes in my experience, even when there shouldn't have been tracking issues, there were some. Fast-paced multiplayer games like Onward or Pavlov, I truly question if they will ever be right or function correctly for the Quest. At the end of the day though, the Quest is basically a portable CV1 Rift at your fingertips, ready to go wherever and whenever with you. At $399 for the 64GB version, anyone who wants to get into the VR field for the first time, specifically, this is a no-brainer VR purchase and I cannot recommend it enough. The positives far outweigh any of the negatives, and the experience is what we need to talk about. But like I mentioned earlier, the Quest to me is not the sum of its technical components or capabilities. It's about a promise of a VR experience that can be delivered to so many who before just did not have access to virtual reality. It set a lot of hype and lofty ideals about what a mass VR adoption tool could look like, and it did deliver. I remember my first time in VR in the HTC Vive Home. I sat on the floor of my empty room, feeling like I was in the studio loft at the top of a mountain. But I was fairly alone on that mountain, because to those whom I could discuss this amazing experience and relate with, well, they were few and far between. But now there's a possibility, and when sales numbers come out, I expect that possibility to be a reality, that now more users than ever can experience the full VR experience, share their stories, and build this community's foundation. We now have a standard in which future standalone units can be compared to, and we can determine if upgrades are happening and forward movement in the VR field is happening. I have seen stories just in a day about how VR changed their perception on gaming, on exercise, on happiness and depression, on how to have fun, and more, and this all in just the first 24 hours of the Quest being launched. For all its shortcomings, and yes, the Quest has legit flaws, VR has come out of a stagnant niche, and I am more excited than ever that VR has opened up to a wider community. I am optimistic, excited, and thankful to be part of this VR community. See you next time, VR Space Cowboys.